They wrote that I volunteered. I was 9. I was avenging a sister I had never known. I learned what that word meant when I was 48. Origin Protocol. Witness File 002-C, Subject Designation, Echo, E002-C, Classification, Witness Record. Case Status, Reopened. The following testimony was recorded in February 2026. Yamamoto Kenji, age 48. The location is the home of his late mother, Yamamoto Reiko. She died on November 12, 2024. She gave him a single notebook on the night of her death. The parent file identifies Kenji as Subject Selection 1. He was the first child to engage mimicry, E002 under the counter-question protocol. He was the youngest of the 14 agents at Operation Kōtai. He had not spoken of any of this in 39 years. The reason he is speaking now is in the notebook. He has agreed to testify on one condition: that his sister's name be recorded correctly. Yamamoto Aoi. 11 years old at her death. Nagoya. December 18, 1979. December 18. (1979). Nagoya. Yamamoto Aoi, age 11. My sister. I was 1 year old. She was walking home from a friend's house. School had been dismissed early that week. The Kuchisake-onna panic was in its 6th month. The escort system her school had organized did not extend to friend visits. A truck driver did not see her at an intersection where the streetlight had been broken for 3 days. The official record says traffic accident. My parents never said it that way. For as long as I can remember, the woman in the surgical mask had killed my sister. I was told this in pieces. Never as a single sentence. Through the years it became something I knew without remembering being told. The way you know your own name. I did not know my sister. I knew her absence. I knew her absence as a fact about the world. There was one photograph in our house. A school portrait taken 6 weeks before her death. She is wearing the navy uniform of the Nagoya No. 4 elementary school. She is not smiling. She is looking past the camera at something I have spent 46 years trying to identify. Between 1980 and 1986, my mother did not work. My father did not speak of my sister. My mother did not stop. Her version was always the same. The woman in the surgical mask. The unanswerable question. The smile beneath the mask. The story changed depending on what my mother needed it to mean. What did not change was the perpetrator. I asked my father once, when I was 7. I asked whether the woman who killed my sister was the same woman. The one who had killed the children in Shibuya that year. He looked at me for a long time. He said yes. He said she killed all of them. I believed him. I did not know that the children in Shibuya had died in a gas explosion. I did not know that my sister had died under the wheels of a truck. I did not know what I did not know. I knew her name without ever having spoken it. I knew that my mother could not say it. I knew that my father had stopped going to the family altar. I knew that I was the child who had survived. I knew that this fact required something of me. I did not yet know what. The man who came to our house in October 1986 was not introduced as a doctor. My mother called him my father's old colleague. My father had no colleagues. He sat in our living room for 2 hours. I was sent to my room. I heard my mother crying. I heard my father say no, then yes, then no, then yes. The man was Dr. Tanaka Hiroshi. The parent file identifies him as the architect of the counter-question protocol. He was 39 years old. He had a daughter named Mai who was my age. He never mentioned her. He told my parents there was something that could be done. He told them a small group of children was being prepared. He told them one of them would be the first. He told them he had read about my sister. He told them no child would be put in physical harm. My mother said yes before my father did. I was told the next morning that I had been chosen for a special program. I was told it was because I was brave. I was told that I would be helping to make sure no one's sister would ever be hurt again. I believed all of this. I was 9. I trained for 6 weeks. This is where the testimony breaks chronology. The notebook my mother gave me on the night of November 11, 2024 is dated 1979. My sister kept it for 7 months. The last entry is from December 17. The day before she died. I read it for the first time in March 2025. I have read it 41 times since. There are 3 things in it that I had spent 39 years not knowing. The first. My sister had never been near the woman in the surgical mask. The notebook is detailed about everything my sister was afraid of in 1979. The woman in the surgical mask is not on any list. My sister was afraid of a math teacher named Inoue. My sister was afraid of an older boy named Sho who pulled her hair. My sister was afraid of her mother becoming sad again. The woman in the surgical mask appears only twice. Not as something feared. The second. My sister wrote about a girl in Suida whose name she had read in a newspaper. A girl named Nakamura Hana. My sister wrote that she did not understand why everyone was angry at the woman in the surgical mask. The children had died from gas. The third. The last entry, December 17, 1979. My sister wrote, I think she is sad. I think she is trying to ask something. I think the adults are not letting her finish her question. This is what my mother had carried for 45 years. This is what she could not give me until she was dying. She gave it to me at 1 in the morning. In a sealed envelope. With no instruction except please. June 14, 1987. Osaka. 19:23 hours. The parent file describes this engagement accurately. I have nothing to add to its physical description. What I can add is this. I asked the counter question I had been trained to ask. Do you think I am beautiful? She did not answer. She looked at me for 4 seconds. Her mask was at her chin. The wounds were visible. They were not what I had been prepared for. I had been prepared for monstrosity. What I saw was a face that had been hurt. A face that was looking at me without any of the things I had been told would be in it. I had been told she would be in pain, enraged, the killer of my sister. Her face was none of these things. What her face did, in those 4 seconds, was wait. She turned. She walked away. The parent file calls this the first documented tactical withdrawal in entity history. Dr. Tanaka and the observation team called it victory. They told me I had done it. They told me my sister could rest now. I was 9. I did not know what to do with the 4 seconds. I went home. I told my mother I had helped catch the woman in the surgical mask. My mother held me for a long time. She did not ask me what had happened. She must have known by then. She must have known the notebook in her dresser drawer was about to become a lie. A lie she would have to keep for 37 more years. September 23, 1987. Tokyo. Shibuya District. The parent file describes Operation Kōtai accurately as well. 14 child agents. Cascading decision paralysis. Manifestation collapse at 19:15 hours. Complete dispersal confirmed. What I can add is this. The other 13 children did not know what I now know about the 4 seconds in Osaka. They had been trained in the same protocol. They had been told the same things about her. I did not tell them. I did not tell Dr. Tanaka. I had been told the first one was the most important. I had been told the others were depending on me. At 1847 hours, when she manifested at the crossing, she looked at me first. I was the only face she would have recognized. She had seen me in Osaka. She knew I had not finished the question. She had 4 seconds before the others began to speak. She did not move. She looked at me. She waited again. I gave the counter-question. The others gave the counter-question. Her face changed. The parent file calls this voice distortion. Facial wounds expanding uncontrollably. What I saw was a person being asked to answer a question she could not answer. Because no one in the room was willing to let her finish. The only question she had ever been allowed to ask. She dissolved at 19:15 hours. I was told I had done it again. I went home. I did not tell anyone about the 4 seconds in Shibuya either. I had now had 8 seconds with her in total. The other 13 had had less than 30. I am 48 years old. I am sitting in my mother's house in Nagoya. The notebook is on the table beside this recording. For 37 years, between 1987 and 2024, I believed something. I had avenged a sister I had never met. By killing the woman who had killed her. For 2 years, I have been learning to say a different sentence. I had been avenging a sister I had never known. By killing a woman she had never met. On behalf of parents who had needed a story. That is not a sentence I know how to put down. Origin Protocol has asked me what I now believe the woman in the surgical mask was. I do not know. I am not equipped to know. I was a tool used at 9 years old. The man who used me is dead. My mother is dead. My father is dead. My sister was dead before I was old enough to remember her. What I can say is this. She looked at me for 4 seconds in Osaka. She looked at me for 4 seconds in Shibuya. In both, she was waiting for me to finish a question I was not capable of asking. Because I was 9. Because I had been trained in a different question. Because the people who trained me had needed me to ask theirs. I do not know what she would have said if I had let her finish. My sister, in 1979, at age 11, had written, I think she is trying to ask something. My sister, who had never met her, knew more than I did. My sister was trying to listen. I did not. I will not get to do otherwise. The woman in the surgical mask is dispersed. My sister is dead. My parents are dead. The notebook is on the table. The 4 seconds are mine to keep. I carried the wrong thing for 37 years. I do not yet know what to do with the right one. I have spoken now. The file may close again.